Music artists delving their way into an acting career is not something new. We've seen this before with people like Mark Wahlberg,
because I do hip-hop records just because I love hip-hop,
who pretty much just left his music career behind and decided to become a full-time actor. Now, it's no secret that a lot of production companies and movies will put singers into their films as it's a familiar face and it draws more eyes onto their film, marketing it as their acting debut. So I've spent the last few days diving into 10 musicians' acting careers to figure out this musician to actor paradox and understand why it doesn't always work out.
Eminem, you have any aspiration to act? That seems to be like a common thread. A lot of musicians, sort of a next step.
Yeah, soon.
Eminem, aka Marshall Mathers, aka Slim Shady. The most well-known role that Eminem's had is probably Jimmy from 8 Mile. Eminem plays a character by the name of Jimmy, who also goes by B-Rabbit. He's a rapper in the Detroit area who's trying to make it big in the rap scene, while also dealing with having to look after his sister, and his mum's in an abusive relationship, and he's also dealing with his relationship with his ex-girlfriend.
I'm your girlfriend.
No, you're not my girlfriend. We broke up.
And his new romance with Alex, who is played by Brittany Murphy. Jimmy would always go to these rap battles. He would rap, but then he would stop and get stage fright, and then he'd get booed off the stage. Fast forward, he ends up landing a rap battle against the most feared battler by the name of Papa Doc, who is played by Anthony Mackie. They end up having this rap battle, and Rabbit ends up destroying Papa Doc. And the crowd goes wild. He ends up winning, and then his friend Future says, do you want to host more rap battles here? He declines the offer and says, no, I need to do everything his own way, and ends up walking away, and that is where the film ends. A lot of people think that this is based on Eminem's life, which it loosely kind of is. There is parts that are very similar to Eminem's real life, but there are parts that aren't actually anything to do with his life. The film also came with a lot of really good songs, most noticeably Lose Yourself, which went on to win an Oscar.
The Oscar goes to Eminem.
He actually won a MTV award for the best male performance and the best breakthrough performance. This acceptance speech of him winning these awards is probably the weirdest acceptance speech I've ever seen. He basically just repeats the same thing over and over again. He also has played a few roles as himself. Did one in The Interview, where he was being interviewed and then basically said that he was gay.
Eminem's gay on our show. Eminem's gay on our show.
He was also in Funny People.
Yeah, you're stuck just like me.
He was also in an episode of the TV show Entourage, where he's in a club, he says hi to the guy says something to him, he punches the guy. Compared to a lot of people on this board, he has been up for so many major roles. Fast and Furious as Brian O'Connor, Fight Club as Tyler Durden, and there's been so many more that he's actually declined. Like, imagine Eminem as Tyler Durden. He is not the only one who has won an Oscar.
Do you ever drink the prop drinks and actually feel drunk even though they're not real? I do.
Lady Gaga won an Oscar for A Star Is Born. This made me think, I feel like it is kind of a cheat code. If they act in something that's like relatively close to what they do already, it's a lot easier for the audience to like believe them. And I guess that's just something to think about. I don't know. Unlike any of the other people on this wall, she's probably been acting before she started singing. So the first thing that she was really in, Girl at Swim Pool number 2. So she played a girl at a swim pool that was the second girl at the swim pool. She had no lines. She was just at a swim pool. She was also in the background of Men in Black, right there. She made her film debut in the film Machete Kills, where she basically played one of the identities of Assassin El Chameleon. Even though it was a really small role, she somehow managed to get in a car chase, get in a car crash, and then kill a truck driver, all within 2 minutes and 31 seconds. She also played a waitress in Sin City, A Dime for a Kill.
Yeah.
But my personal favourite is the Countess in American Horror Story. Lady Gaga plays the Countess, who is a vampire and the former owner of Hotel Courts, which was built by her ex-husband, James Marsh.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
She also kidnaps a bunch of children, makes them into vampires, often goes off, has like orgies with people, then kills them. There's just so many things that happened in this show that I just can't explain them all. She really owned this season. I have to say, every time that she was on the screen, I was just like, she's doing it, you know? And I really think out of everything that she's done, this is the most range of performance that we've seen from her. That will always be my favourite performance by Lady Gaga, and I don't think she's going to top it. She was also in American Horror Story Roanoke as a witch. She wasn't really in it very long, and it was just a little part. My guinea pig is weaking. I don't even know if you can hear him. Star is Born, where she played Ali, who is a struggling musician. I see the similarities. Who falls in love with Jackson, who is played by Bradley Cooper, and he helps her follow her dreams while also dealing with an alcohol addiction and his personal demons. Now, I went to see this film when I was 14 in the cinema, and it made me cry. I remember sitting there with my mum and I cried. Gaga, like I said earlier, also won an Oscar for her song Shallow in this film.
The Oscar goes to Lady Gaga. Thank you so much.
House of Gucci, a Ridley Scott 2021 film adaptation of The House of Gucci. Lady Gaga plays, I'm going to really butcher this, so please don't come for me, but Polizia Rajani. I'm actually Greek. No, I'm not. I'm Australian. No, I'm not. I'm British. She marries into the Gucci family and inserts herself into the family business. And essentially, she ends up damaging a lot of relationships with her husband and his family. Her husband, Maurizio Gucci, ends up falling out of love with her and asks for a divorce. And obviously, Patrizia does not want this. She's very mad. So she gets very, very wound up. And she ends up hiring a hitman to murder him. And basically, he ends up getting killed. And she ends up going to court. And she ends up getting 29 years in prison. Now, the interesting thing about Lady Gaga's approach to this film is she didn't want to read any source material, and she also refused to see the real Polizia, as she wanted to create her own version of this character and wanted to play her like she saw her, which a lot of people have a problem with, and I do agree with them. I mean, if you have source material and you can meet the actual person, then I feel like you should try and do that. Her newest role that she's taken up is the role of Harley Quinn in the new Joker film, which is a sequel to the film Joker that came out in 2019. And this film already means a lot to me because it actually comes out on the 4th of October. And if you didn't know what the 4th of October, it's my 20th birthday. That is what I'm seeing on my birthday. So if it's not good, it's going to be a rough 20th. And she's not the only one that's delved into the superhero universe.
What I like about acting is I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing.
Harry Styles has done a lot of acting recently. Dunkirk is really the first thing that we kind of saw Harry act in that took his acting career seriously. Before that, he was in iCarly.
Could I have some more fruit?
Dunkirk was really the first thing that people think, oh shit, Harry Styles can act.
Grab me one of them papers.
It really kick-started his career into the movie scene. The film is based on World War II soldiers, and he plays a character called Alex, and he doesn't actually die. I generally thought that when I was watching this film that he was going to die, because there were several points in the film that I thought Harry Styles is going to die, and he didn't. So you Harry Styles fans, he doesn't die. It's quite a common thing on my wall, where a lot of people will just get a little role, and then they'll die. A lot of people would say Harry Styles' movie career peaked, and then started to fall. Externals. Harry Styles has quite a small role in Externals. He pops up in the post-credit scene. He plays the role of Eros, the brother of Thanos, the big purple guy who snapped half of the population off the planet. He plays the brother of him. Tell me how he is related to Thanos. But there have been rumours of him going to revisit this role in another Marvel film. My Policeman. In My Policeman, Harry Styles plays the younger version of Tom Burgess, a policeman who falls in love with a school teacher, Marion, but soon starts a passionate affair with museum curator Patrick, who he actually started a relationship with before he met Marion. The film kind of lays it out as if he met Marion and then he met Patrick, but then you soon realise that he actually was having an affair with Patrick already before he met Marion. And the thing is, he does love both of them. He would have loved Challengers. He would have loved that film, and he would have been like, oh, I can do this both. But he wants to have a kid, so he ends up wanting to marry Marion. Patrick is a bit worried because he doesn't want to lose Tom, but then also is actually really good friends with Marion. They're all good friends. Marion saw him and Tom together, and this is when she put two and two together. She realised, oh, he likes men as well. And she was kind of upset because she really likes Tom. Long story short, Patrick gets arrested. She ends up living her life with Tom. Years later, Patrick has a stroke, and Marion says that they'll look after them, so they all live together as they're looking after Patrick because he's had a stroke. And then Marion decides to leave because she thinks Tom and Patrick should be together because she kept them away from each other. And people do have criticism with Harry's acting. This is probably my favourite film he's been in. I actually cried. I have videos of it because my brother was laughing at me because I was crying. I'm so sad. Don't worry, darling. Even if you haven't seen this film, I am sure that you have seen some sort of press around this film. When it came to people seeing this film, my boy Harry got absolutely destroyed by the internet. Harry Styles plays this guy called Jack Chambers, who is married to his partner Alice Chambers, who is played by Florence Pugh. And they live in this perfect town in the 1950s. Every morning, the husbands will get in their little cars and they will drive off to go to work. And they work at the Victory Project, which is a mysterious project that none of the wives really know about, other than the ones that know, where they'll be gone most of the day and come back in the evening, while the women just stay and do whatever they want. They'll clean, they'll go shopping, they'll go on the bus, but the town is being paid for by them going to this work. Florence Pugh's character gets a little bit curious about this project that they're going to, and she starts kind of meddling around and doing things that she's not allowed to do, but she wants to kind of understand where they're going. Why can't she know about it? Long story short, this whole thing is a simulation. It's basically not even real. When the men go off in their cars to work at the Victory Project, they're actually waking up from the simulation, and they have to care for their partner's vessel, their partner's body, while they are constantly in this simulation. But tell me why, in the real world, they made Harry Styles have long hair, glasses, and an American accent.
I'm starving. I haven't eaten.
Why not?
I wasn't sure what you wanted and you never text me back.
Like, I just didn't understand why, when he was signing up to do the Victory Project, why did he choose to be British? Like, wouldn't he just stay being American? I do have to say, this was like the only part in the film where I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's not Harry Styles. Like, I just couldn't unsee Harry Styles. But when it came to the American guy, who I don't even classify as the same person, I could believe that was not Harry Styles. But I have to admit, I did keep on quoting this film days after.
Not everyone gets this opportunity. We are lucky to be here!
But the scene where he lied to Florence Pugh's character and basically set her up to get taken away, and he's just sat in the car and he's just screaming, I'm sorry, over and over again.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me be back. I'm sorry.
I felt really bad.
I took a lot of acting classes. I've been taking a lot of acting classes.
Camila Cabello. Camila Cabello's only really starred in one thing, which was Cinderella. Now, this was an Amazon Prime musical, and it has that guy in it who's in that Harry Styles fanfiction. He's in that Harry Styles fanfiction. I should put a little red thing right here, because they're linked. This film gave me very major Disney Channel vibes. I felt like I was watching another Cinderella story, part 10 billion, except from all the weird sexual jokes in it. It had so many sexual jokes that just didn't really land. Cinderella wants to start her own dress company. She loves making dresses and she wants to start her own dress business. But she can't because she lives in the basement of her stepmother and stepsister's house, and they're kind of mean to her. It was quite predictable. I knew that they wouldn't like her, okay? When she said stepmother, I was like, oh shit, here we go again. The prince is told that he has to continue the line. He sees Cinderella climb up this statue and he's like, that is the girl I want. She's a rebel. I want her. Cinderella decides to leave the basement and she goes to town to sell her dress until the prince sees her selling this dress and he buys the dress because he's like, oh, this is the girl I wanted, and invites her to the ball. And she has a really good relationship with 3 rats. Fairy godmother turns the rats into humans and he gives her a horse and cart and lovely dress, lovely shoes, you know the deal. But when he turned these rats into humans, one of the rats turned into James Corden, and I'm not even lying. One of the rats turned into James Corden, and at that moment I wanted to throw my computer across the room because I just didn't want to watch this film anymore. I also find musicals really hard to watch. Second thing, James Corden was a rat. Then because James Corden was a rat and now he's turned into a human, he was really excited that he had hands and a pee-pee to pee-pee from. And they had a dance to the song Seven Nation Army at the ball. She ends up dancing with the prince to Ed Sheeran, and oh no, it's midnight. She runs out. The guy's trying to stop her, so she lobs a shoe at him. Prince is looking for her. He ends up chasing her on a horse. She falls because she obviously doesn't hear a horse running behind her. But I've grown up with horses. You can hear them, motherfuckers, okay? They're loud. So I don't know how she didn't hear a horse running behind her. But anyway, she falls. They end up kissing, and then she ends up being able to sell dresses. And at the end, they have this whole sing-song to the song Let's Get Loud.
Let's get loud.
Basically, we go in and study the movements of a cat.
Taylor Swift. In 2009, Taylor Swift played a character by the name of Haley Jones in the show CSI, who is a high school student and is seen a few times in the episode via flashbacks. She basically ends up getting bullied and turns into an emo, where she ends up finding a picture of her real mum, and her adopted mum chases after her because she doesn't like her hair and she's trying to change it, so she's carrying scissors, runs after her and stabs her by accident. Oh, you and she dies. guys. And I didn't just make that up. That was actually the episode. I'm not even making that up. She was also in Valentine's Day, along with Tyler Lautner, where they played some high school students who were in a relationship. And she also was in an episode of New Girl for a small cameo. She was also in The Giver as Rosemary right at the end as a little flashback where they made her wear a brown wig to make her more distinctive and un-Taylor-like. But in my head, I'm like, why would you hire Taylor Swift if you're trying to not make her look like Taylor Swift, you know? Cats. She was also in Cats, but after watching Cinderella, I generally had my yearly dose of James Corden, so I couldn't watch it. I'm sorry. Apparently she was only in it for 5 minutes. She basically did a musical number and got whisked away by Idris Elba and is not seen again. She and the rest of the cast had to actually do cat training where they pretended to be cats for the film.
If you told me I was going to get to be a cat for work, what?
For them to literally just get CGI'd anyway. And her most recent performance was in Amsterdam as Elizabeth Meekins, daughter of the US Senator Bill Meeks, who was thought to have died of natural causes, but Dr. Byrne and Harold think that he was actually poisoned, so they take the evidence to Elizabeth, but then Elizabeth is like, oh my god, you know, like kind of freaks out, and then she gets pushed into traffic and is hit by a truck. And who else gets hit by a vehicle? None other than Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish plays Ava, essentially a cult leader to the group called Decawin, a woman empowerment group, and she takes in the main character Dre, who at the time going under another name. She essentially does these therapy sessions with Dre and gets into her mind and figures out a bit of her past. She is literally their leader, and she'll take them all hiking in like midnight and make them do these things. At one point she takes Dre's phone. Dre is like addicted to her phone. Like, she needs her phone. She'll go absolutely mad, which she did. She went absolutely mad with Ava and tries to leave. And Ava's blackmailing her, saying, you know, if you leave, we know everything about you.
If you leave, we know everything.
So don't leave. Ava gives her the phone. All the other girls come to the car and they're like, no, stay. Stay with your friends, stay. And for some reason, you know, they stand in front of the car because they think that they can stop the car. Dre just runs her over. And all the other girls go total beast mode, trying to break into Dre's car. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it. And then she decides to drive back over her. So she gets hit by a car twice. Now, honestly, I generally think that Billie Eilish did an amazing job as this role. It was so Billie coded. I don't know how to say that in the best way. She actually did win a People's Choice Award for their TV performance of the year. And Billie Eilish made a song for the film Barbie, which Dua Lipa was in. For literally like a few seconds, she popped up, said hi Barbie, and then left. She played the mermaid, and she also did do a song for the film called Dance the Night. She was also in this film, which I cannot pronounce, so I'm gonna just put it on the screen. In this film, she's pretty much at the start, and she dances with Henry Cavill's character, gets taken off of a motorbike by John Cena, tries to kill Henry Cavill, and she ends up just drinking poison and dies. Going back to Swarm, it was created by Donald Glover, who was in a series with Rihanna called Guava Island. So Rihanna did a few cameos playing herself, Bring It On, All or Nothing, and This Is the End, where she pretty much just gets smacked on her arse. But her debut performance was in the film Battleship, which is based on the board game of the same name. Rihanna plays a weapons specialist in the US Navy who is trying to save the world from an alien invasion. So you can say what you want about this film, but I generally think that Rihanna did really well. She also featured in Valerian as Bubbles the Shapeshifter.
What'll it be, soldier?
And she was in the Oceans franchise spin-off as 8-Ball, who was a hacker and helped the other girls steal $150 million worth of diamonds from the Met Gala. She was also in 2 episodes of Bates Motel. She played a character called Marion Crane, which if you watch a lot of horror movies, you probably recognize that name as the girl in the original Psycho film. Basically, they did a different type of adaptation of the character. As soon as she got in the shower, I knew it was over, and I was like prepared for Rihanna to die in this. So I was just prepared for her to die, but she didn't die. She actually just got out the shower, said, as I quote, screw this shit, and then she leaves and drives off and survives. So going back to her most recent performance, which was Guava Island, I looked everywhere for this. It's only on Prime, but they've taken it off of Prime, so I can't actually watch it. From what I've heard, it's had really good reviews, and it was actually up for a Critics' Choice Award for the best movie made for television. The Weeknd. So I'm pretty sure that everyone and their mothers have heard about The Idol, a TV show that The Weeknd is in, and he plays the character Tetros. Now this show was very poorly received. You could literally watch hours and hours worth of content on this show. I know so much about this show just from watching those videos. Basically, his character was a club owner who inserts himself into the main character's life, who was played by Lily Rose Depp by the name of Joycelyn, and she was a music artist who wants to make her music more risky, and Tetros helps her by doing weird stuff. It has some of the most uncomfortable sex scenes that you will ever watch in your life. The way that The Weeknd plays this character, it's not like sexy mysterious, it's like creepy mysterious. The guy that's watching you who you just want to run away from. You don't want to be near this guy.
Let me catch you looking at her again. I'm not. Let me catch you looking at her again. I'm sorry, I'm not. Catch you looking at her again. I'll drag you down Rodeo. I can curb stomp you. I'm sorry. I'll curb stomp you.
He did release an album along with the show called Idol Volume 1, which was received a lot better than his performance and the show altogether. Shawn Mendes. Now, I didn't realise that Shawn Mendes was in the 100. His character in the show says about 3 lines.
Come on, what do you guys want for it? Done.
And then sits at a piano, plays the piano, and then gets side-tackled by Roderick, the Diary of the Wimp Kid. He gets side-tackled by him, and then they get into a little fight. That's pretty much it. He's not really seen again. Does also play a singing crocodile, which I just found that out today, and I had to just add that in. That is pretty much my whole wall. Question of the comments today is, what is your favourite performance of any of these people on my wall today? Leave it in the comments and I'll check them out, because I love hearing you guys' opinions. I do want to quickly give some honourable mentions to some other musicians who've gone into acting. Ed Sheeran, who I accidentally printed out. Big photo of him from Game of Thrones. So if anyone wants that, hit me up and I'll mail it to you. You have to live in the UK because I'm not paying postage. We have Cher, Jennifer Lopez, Hailey Steinfeld, Madonna, Sting, David Bowie, Beyonce, Donald Glover. I'm just going to say thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next one.